Ian Samuels here, former Supreme Court clerk. Ian, I'm guessing just from our past conversations, what I just said, not that it surprises you that it's true, it surprises you that I said it.
Well, I'm not surprised that you said it because it is true and you're a pretty smart guy. And, you know, that JFK quotation that you had reminded me when JFK was campaigning, and he was a rich guy. Joe Kennedy had made his family very wealthy. Kennedy was talking to a coal miner in West Virginia, which was a big Democratic bastion back then. And JFK, after talking to this guy for a while, said something to the effect of, you know, talking to you, I feel like I haven't worked a day in my life. To which the coal miner is supposed to have responded, well, you haven't missed much. And I think that illustrates one of the principal differences that is between now and even the middle of the 20th century, where we had genuine elite interest. We had political parties organized and factions in both political parties that were organized around advancement for the working classes more broadly. And what's so striking is that although today we think we have a kind of left-right divide in politics, and I guess in some ways that we do, can anyone really tell me if there is a dime's worth of difference for the guest that you just had on in East Palestine or any of the other residents of East Palestine between the Democratic and Republican parties? Are their fates going to be any different because Joe Biden versus Donald Trump was president? Absolutely not. We know that Biden and Trump essentially collaborated on allowing this disaster to happen. And we know that there's not going to be any meaningful progress for these kinds of working families, no matter whom is elected president. And so our energy around politics shifts to other things, not economic justice, not the advancement of working families, not the idea that maybe my child will do better in life than I have, because everyone essentially agrees that, well, that's impossible. So what can we do in politics, right? Which, you know, tends to sort of center on, you know, cultural war disagreement, things like that. But the idea that you would be able to eat breakfast is apparently one that we're just going to sort of let slide out the window, just like, you know, JFK and Eugene Debs and all the other things that we've lost in the past. It's terrible. It's heartbreaking. But isn't it true?
It is true, as you laid it out as well. There isn't a difference right now between the political parties and how they are willing to sell out working class Americans. They'll both campaign to them, and it was interesting. I wanted to get your perspective on this because we haven't talked since the State of the Union. President Biden delivered a line about the forgotten men and women, forgotten workers of America, which, if you closed your eyes, it could have read exactly like a president. Then candidate Donald Trump's speech in 2016. There's this group of people who politicians realize they need, but continue to refuse to help because of special interests. President Trump was supposed to change that. In some ways, he at least made some attempts, didn't really do a great job in so many ways. But either way, people felt like there was somebody standing up for them. And I'm wondering, as you look back at history, where do we go? Where do we go from here? Because we become more fractured politically, and it just almost begs for that populist moment that history tells us isn't really good for a democracy.
Well, it's certainly not good for a democracy that's structured like this. I mean, we have a democracy in some senses, but is there any real sense if democracy means control of the government by the people themselves? Can anyone seriously look at the United States of America in the year of our Lord 2023 and say this government seems to be truly responsive to its people and is in control of the people themselves?
I just got to stop you for a second. I agree with you. Yes, but to be fair, can you think of anywhere that's better?
I don't know. I think Norway's pretty good. I mean, I always like to go to the Nordic countries. And of course, everyone always rolls their eyes and tells me, well, Ian, there's a million reasons that that's not a fair comparison.
No,
but
there's
here's
like
the point.
300 million because they've got so many more people. They don't allow immigrants there. They've got enormous national resources, which they're allowed to take out of the ground, which doesn't happen in the United States. America provides them defense protection. You want me to keep going?
I won't derail this excellent show where we're agreeing on so many things with an explanation of why America's are actually more advantaged than Norway is actually a richer place with more natural resources. But here's the point. Even if there's no place I'd rather move to, and I happen to like living in Southern California, that's not the point. The question you asked, with which I quite agree, is where do we go from here? And that is the right question. Yeah. And if there are going to be class differences that are this sharp that emerge in America, the thing that's going to emerge next, God willing, is class consciousness. Now, we haven't done a great job historically of that in America either, because we used to have a much more compressed class structure. But if people start to think of themselves primarily not as partisans first, Democrats or Republicans, but working people who are getting a sort of raw deal from present management, whatever its color, then you could see some genuine political changes. Probably not before that.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.